What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. I'm MMA Tizzer, and today we're going to be talking about how Sean Strickland might get a cheeky underdog win this weekend. Obviously, I am back. I've been away for ages. I was on vacation, but we're back now, so you can be expecting regular uploads. And obviously, I have not lost my mind. Izzy obviously deserves to be a huge favourite, but I just want everyone to hear me out on this one, okay? So, in the past, I have virtually never really picked Sean Strickland, except fights he was obviously going to win. In every close fight, Pereira, Cannonier, I don't pick Sean Strickland because I think he's basic. He's not very threatening, except Abbas, obviously. He's basic. He's not very threatening. And even though his grappling is good, he doesn't really use it. And although he pushes a pace, he's not so dangerous that even if you gas, he isn't probably going to finish you. You can probably still survive a decision. So if you've won the first few rounds, the first 2 rounds in a 3 rounder, you've won the fight. So it doesn't matter, unless your cardio is really bad like Abbas, and then he will put you away. And obviously, he's fighting Adesanya, who's one of the greatest kickboxers of all time in the UFC. So the matchup there is obviously that Sean Strickland will get annihilated on the feet. There is not a world we live in that Israel will lose to Sean. He won't get knocked out, and he won't lose by decision. The only way Israel will lose this fight by getting finished is if he gets injured. Dodgy leg kick, breaks his leg, perennial nerve kick, something like that. Eye poke, something like that. Maybe rolls on his ankle or some stuff like that, breaks his arm, anything like that. Obviously, that's a possibility in any fight though. And that is obviously not what I'm predicting. I'm not predicting an Adesanya injury. I think, obviously, in Sean's last fight, people pick him. And the reason they pick him is because they go, oh, he's going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle. He's going to wrestle Pereira, Oh, he might wrestle Cannonier. Oh, he's going to wrestle, So the idea is that Sean Strickland has good wrestling. It's true. And that he would wrestle, You'd think he'd wrestle against Alex Pereira, the guy that's new to wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and is probably one of the most dangerous stand-up fighters of all time, offensively. And Strickland just decides to not shoot a takedown. I didn't think he would shoot a takedown. He literally openly admitted he would not shoot a takedown. People thought he would. Don't really get why they thought that when he said that. And he got absolutely annihilated on the feet, unsurprisingly. However, this might sound crazy, but bear with me. This is the one time I'm picking Strickland to win a fight that he shouldn't win. And it sounds crazy, but I genuinely do think he's going to wrestle Adesanya. And I'm not just basing that off a hunch. I'm not just saying, oh, he's going to do it and try and get another underdog prediction win. I've got a reason, and I'm going to show you it right now. So let's just take a look at this clip. Is basically the reason why I do think Sean Strickland is going to grapple, okay? This is more than a hunch, because, you're just going to hear what he says, and you can see for yourself why I think he's going to grapple and why, maybe a lot of people do, because credit to the YouTube channel Diary of a Pro Gambler. He pointed this out first, so I'm going to link his channel in the comments. So go and have a look at his video. It's a lot longer and more in-depth than mine. However, I just wanted to let everyone know that this is why I'm picking Sean, okay? Wait until you see this, okay? Just listen to this very carefully, okay? And listen to what he says, because, Sean Strickland doesn't really think about what he says a lot. But to me, this is different from his usual self. You can tell.
Adesanya matchup. On paper, most people would say, oh, you need to go in there and grapple this guy to win, but we saw them say that about the Alex Pereira fight, and you didn't do that. So what are you thinking about your game plan ahead of Sunday?
Here's the thing, guys. I've been wrestling my ass off.
Okay, so Sean immediately says that he's been doing a lot of wrestling, right? Against kickboxer Adesanya, wrestling, he's not going to wrestle you. So, Adesanya is not going to shoot on Strickland, don't worry. And I know Adesanya was saying he's going to submit Sean Strickland. He isn't. He's grown his gyno. This is an Adesanya knockout. He wants a knockout. He's got his gyno showing again, which all but confirms to me he's on another cycle. And he's going to have a ridiculous knockout power in this fight out of nowhere. So, yeah. And it continues. So obviously, he's just said he's been training a lot for grappling. We continue.
Wrestle my ass off, but I also wrestled my ass off with Alex. Problem is, man, you get in there and your dick gets a little bit hard. Next thing you know, you're going to turn into a boxing match. So
okay, so he just said there, obviously, to make it more PG. He did train wrestling against Alex Pereira. However, he kind of got scared to shoot. Understandably so, obviously, you probably don't want him to eat a knee up the middle from Alex Pereira. He's got very quick reaction times, and he flatline KO'd nearly Andreas Michailidis by doing a flying knee up the middle because he could recognize that Andreas was really, really not liking it on the feet and really desperately wanted to shoot. So, understandably, Strickland didn't shoot. So, however, Adesanya isn't as lethal as Pereira, okay? And I know Adesanya is just as good a kickboxer, and I know he knocked out Pereira. So before you go, oh, he knocked him out, how is he not dangerous? When you're looking at a guy going, Adesanya rarely goes forward, and a lot of his fights are decision fights, okay? He actually has a very similar finish rate to Strickland, and it sounds crazy because you feel like, at least in my head, I feel like Adesanya has won a lot more fights by KO finish. However, no, very similar finish rates. So, and obviously a lot of people know Sean Strickland as a volume decision fighter because, that's what he is really. So, yeah, we move on. This is important. Keep listening.
Maybe I'm going to try to be a complete MMA fighter, but no promises. No promises.
Okay, now I don't want to be like a body language analysis guy. He did not make eye contact with him there, okay? And Sean Strickland is not a nervous person, okay? So, what that's maybe telling to me is that he's maybe lying, okay? And he obviously doesn't want to give his game plan away to the media because, there's a chance Adesanya's coach might watch this video and then be like, is he? Defend takedowns. But, anyway, very important. Keep listening.
Did you learn anything from Alex when you sparred with him that can help you in this fight, or was it kind of you were there to help him, so you weren't really learning things from him, it was the other way around?
I mean, it was kind of both, like you ask a guy at that level, like, hey, what do you see? What do you see, world champion kickboxer? And, he gave me some...
Okay, so obviously there he's just talking about training with Alex Pereira, which is a month or two ago. I think he did actually 2 separate, weeks of training with him. I could be wrong. But hang on, just wait, because a really, really big clue is coming, and this is the clue, the confirmation to me. Because that was subtle evidence, but wait until you hear this in just a second. We just have, this part of the video is what I would call the confirmation, okay? This is where I think Strickland more or less accidentally admits that he is going to wrestle, okay? So, obviously, just take a look at this clip. It's about 45 seconds of content that are all pivotal to proving the point. So let's just take a look at this.
Dude, fucking little twinkle toes, running around, dance around, it's hard to shoot. You're going to have to go nose to nose, dick to dick, and make it a war.
Okay, so obviously acknowledges that shooting on Izzy is hard, okay? He's got world-class footwork, can threaten knees. Haven't really seen it too much in the past, but he could. He's got long legs, leg kicks. He's rangier than Strickland, so yeah, all of that. But here is the pivotal moment. Take a look at this, guys.
Doing that against a guy who is moving like him, though. Do you just have to
cut off the ring?
So the media member, the Matt Clive guy, he asks him how he would do that. Now, obviously, I know this guy's a fighter, but you'd probably think, yeah, how would I do that? How would I do that? I'd pressure him, I'd corner him, but Strickland has a response like that. It's so quick. He doesn't even think about it. He just goes, cut off the ring, and you'll hear him now. And the instant response made me feel like he knows because he's been training it a lot. So his coach has been telling him, we're drilling this, cut off your sparring partner, shoot. Just look how quickly he's listing things.
Fucking take some jabs, take some punches, get some blood, give a little bit to the gods.
There you go, okay. So obviously that is what he's going to have to experience if he fought Izzy. He's rangier, he's better on the feet, so he is going to have to eat punches to get in. And for someone who's not going to wrestle maybe, or hasn't really confirmed they will, to me that just seemed a bit like he knew too much, or he had too much of a plan for it to not be his plan, okay? And obviously I know that's common sense, but for me it was how quickly he responded. He was like, yeah, cut off the ring, close in, eat a few jabs, it's fine, I've got a good chin. Adesanya isn't a power puncher, however he might be, he's on cycle, it appears, so he might be a power puncher, so Sean Strickland might be getting flatlined by a jab in this fight. So yeah, obviously...
Last one, I mean, you're...
So there, he's like, yeah, and then you can see, he's like, oh, might have just exposed my secrets. Thankfully, though, I don't think many people have really paid too much attention to this. I paid a lot of attention to it when I saw it. I think it's really important, and I think it's basically an accidental admission that he is actually going to wrestle. So if Sean wrestles, I think he can beat Adesanya. And to further prove my point on why he would wrestle, if you follow Strickland on Instagram, you know how much he complains about money, okay? He's very, not materialistic, but he's very money-orientated. He doesn't fight because he wants to be champ. He doesn't even care about the belt overly much. He wants it more now because he's in the fight, and he said, I look forward to, like, getting the belt and trying to get the belt. However, in the past, he said, I don't care, it's a belt, okay, whatever. However, being champ has one other obvious bonus. Well, two really. You're famous, you're going to make more money. Sean Strickland is already famous. Sean Strickland as a champion would be extremely famous. And thirdly, he gets pay-per-view bonus points, okay? And this guy will sell pay-per-views, okay? He's a big name on press conferences, reliable for selling pay-per-views. So, Sean Strickland knows that if he became champion, he would have a lot of money in his championship defense. In his first defense, he'd be getting pay-per-view points. You're the champ, so you get more money anyway. He might be able to negotiate a better contract. He's bringing views in. People that are probably getting into MMA, seeing his crazy interviews and stuff, and his political opinions. And obviously, the point is with that, you're gonna make a lot more money. Okay, Sean Strickland, although he's not bad paid, he is not comfortably wealthy yet. He's wealthier than most people. He's well paid. He's on a good contract, and he's a regular fighter, and he's got a few performance of the night bonuses. So this guy's by no means struggling for money whatsoever. However, he lives a lifestyle, outdoorsy. He's kind of reckless with his cars. He bought a bike. He likes all that kind of like outdoor stuff, guns. You name it. He'll want it, and all that stuff is very expensive, and it adds up, especially when he's crashing his dirt bike, as I've seen. And the point is there. That lifestyle is not sustainable if you fight once or twice a year, okay? However, it is sustainable if you're the champion. In fact, if you're the champion and you get a defense or two, you're set, okay? You're probably good for life, or more than okay for life. And Strickland knows this better than anyone. You don't need to tell him about money. And that is why I feel like Sean Strickland is actually going to take this fight seriously. The Pereira fight, it wasn't a title shot. And he fully knew he was probably going to get finished. It's almost like he actually knew he was going to lose. He was saying, this guy's going to knock me out, but, we'll stand and bang and we'll see what happens. However, I feel like he doesn't like Izzy personally. He really wants to beat him. I think there's a motivation there. Everyone wants him to beat Izzy. I think the motivation of the people, I think that's inspiring him as well, because, he's a fan favourite in the enemy's, I know he's from New Zealand. This is Australia, okay? You'd think they'd rally for them, maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure about, the country's relations. But, so that is what I'm thinking. Strickland is going to want the paycheck, and he's going to try and get the paycheck, okay? And if he does a wrestling heavy approach, he can probably win, as long as he's doing it right, because this guy's got underrated wrestling. If he can drag Adesanya to the ground, and he's not at the cage, I think he will be able to keep Adesanya down, okay? He can threaten submissions, discourage Adesanya from trying to give up, trying to discourage him from giving him positions to try and get where he can get his back because he's scared of the rear naked. And, Sean isn't going to be going for a finish on the ground, okay? He's not going to be trying to ground and pound finish, is he? He might threaten submissions, like I said. But the reality of the situation is the path to victory for Strickland is a decision win. 4-1, he might lose a round where he can't shoot on Izzy. It doesn't work. It's stuffed and he takes damage. However, Strickland knows better than anyone. He isn't going to win on the feet. His leg is going to get chewed up. He's going to get out-jabbed. The feints are going to be too much for him. Strickland always tries to parry. The feints are going to be so much of a problem. He can't parry feints that aren't coming. And it will just overload him, and he'll eventually get hit with big shots. And also, we might be dealing with Gyno Izzy here from what I've seen. So he really doesn't want to get hit by Izzy. He's very dangerous when he's on his cycle. So, that's what I'm thinking. Hopefully he does wrestle. I don't want Adesanya to win, obviously. However, he probably will. However, if Strickland wants to actually make this a competitive fight, he should wrestle. And if he goes into this with the smart game plan that he might be planning, there's clues here, is what I'm trying to say. Strickland could be an underdog dog. So for the sake of it, I'm going for Sean Strickland to win by decision, okay? I do think he's finally going to wrestle. I haven't picked him to win except in Abyss in his last 5 fights or 4 fights. And this is the one I'm picking. It's crazy, but, you know, the UFC is crazy. This is the kind of stuff that happens, and I can seem really annoying Adesanya by taking him down. However, I will be very disappointed if he stands and bangs with him. But you know what they say, you know, fool me once, shame on me. No, sorry, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that might be me if Sean Strickland doesn't wrestle, because I'm the fool, because he's fooled people before. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I am taking Sean Strickland to wrestle. I think he will. Hopefully he does it successfully. Hopefully he's been training well. Seems to me like he's been doing a lot of training in grappling. He said it himself, and he was doing it for Pereira. And also, the training with Pereira might actually be especially helpful because Pereira is very lanky, similar to Adesanya. I know Pereira is bigger than Adesanya, but they have a similar build, okay? And that's useful for Strickland to train grappling because, obviously, you know, similar builds. If Sean Strickland's wrestling a 5'11" stocky guy, it's not that useful. Very dissimilar body type. Adesanya is going to be more vulnerable to the double legs, stuff like that because of his skinny legs and his height, or throws in the clinch maybe. So we'll see, but fingers crossed Sean Strickland gets his decision. That's my crazy underdog pick. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully that does happen. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bit of a long breakdown video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Something special. I'm back now. Channel's back to normal. So yeah, cards pretty dead, but you know, fingers crossed we get better cards in the future. And thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like. Comment down below what you guys think. And yeah, we'll see.